Welcome to day 2 of the AI Systems Bootcamp, and today, like I talked about in the last video, we're going to cover the 3-system framework. So capture, convert, and then manage. Now, this is what all of these systems that you're going to see across social media will fall into again. I know I might sound like a broken record here, but I promise you that this is extremely important for you to understand to avoid getting confused when you see people promoting or talking about systems, and even from my videos. So before you build any automation, any chatbot, any workflow, you need the framework. This is the model behind every single system we build. Once you understand this, the entire model of AI systems in an AI systems agency becomes extremely simple because you just have to divide it into 3 groups. So, why a framework matters. Most beginners fail because they see random tools, random workflows, and random automations. And this is why it took me so long before I started seeing any real progress. There's no structure, no logic, no map, and this framework removes all the confusion that you might face throughout your journey. It definitely removed the confusion that I had, and that's why I put it together for this bootcamp, because chances are, if it worked for me, it's going to also work for you. Everything you see, build, or sell is going to fit neatly into one of these 3 systems. This gives you clarity and makes you look like a pro to businesses. So, system number 1 is going to be lead capture systems. Now, we briefly touched on this in the first video, but now we're going to get more in depth into it. So the purpose is to bring new leads into the business. So some examples here, like we mentioned in the last video, a website hero that actually converts, an AI chat widget that can collect leads, respond to any questions, or give quotes, things like that. The DM capture funnels if they have a social media presence. Google Maps into their CRM intake so they can do automated outreach. This is actually a system that I just recently sold. Not exactly this. Obviously, every system is going to vary, but more or less the same. We're scraping and then sending it into their CRM. Even just simple forms to Google Sheet automations can help lead capture, because a lot of these guys are missing out because their websites are dead or they just have no type of funnel whatsoever. Businesses fail because they have no predictable way to capture new leads. Your capture system closes that gap immediately. Most of these businesses can't scale because they're relying on word of mouth. A lot of the times you're going to run into businesses that simply aren't interested in scaling, and that's not necessarily because they don't actually want to, but they might just be overwhelmed with the amount of work they have. So you have to place an emphasis on the fact that your systems will help them reduce their amount of work while also scaling for them. But we'll get into that later as well. All right, now system 2, lead conversion systems. The purpose of these is to turn leads into booked appointments or sales. So some examples could be instant GPT reply to new inquiries, AI SMS follow-up, automated booking flows, multi-touch reminders, or 24/7 autoresponders. This is where businesses lose the most money. Slow response kills conversions. You can do the research on this if you'd like. People are always more likely to go with the person that picks up first, obviously, because they can get there the fastest. This is especially important in terms of like blue-collar businesses like plumbers that rely on it super quickly. Rely on, their services happening super quickly is what I meant to say. Your conversion system fixes that permanently. So they're no longer missing out just because they aren't by their phones or they're busy on a job, things like that. This does apply, across the board, but it's more prevalent in certain industries. All right, now system 3, lead management system. So this is obviously the last one. Start with lead conversion, start with lead capture, go into lead conversion, and then from conversion, you have to manage them and make sure that they don't churn and keep coming back. So the purpose for this is to organize, track, and revive leads automatically. Some examples could be CRM pipelines, automated tagging, lead status assignment, reactivation flows, which is a huge one that you can start offering today, win-back automations, or daily follow-up queues. Most small businesses have zero organization. Again, like I said in the last video, a lot of these guys are on pen and paper. They're writing down information, and it's archaic, and it's wasting a bunch of time and energy. They don't track anything. Your management system brings order and consistency to their entire operation. In my personal opinion, I think that lead management systems are the best way to start, simply because so many businesses are not utilizing this. They're not utilizing modern technology whatsoever. So again, you don't have to pitch AI, but AI will be doing all the work under the hood. This is probably the best place to start instead of trying to do all 3. This is the best place to start as a beginner, just due to the fact that you're working with what they already have, right? So a lot of these guys have a ton of emails or a ton of phone numbers, and you could run reactivation flows to just kind of get them warmed up and turn them into recurring customers, and just kind of help them stop churning. And that's easy to track. Whereas, once you get more advanced and you're in the space for longer, you can start setting up lead capture and lead conversion systems. This is where a lot of people get it wrong. Like with AI receptionists, that people are like, oh, best thing for beginners to start with is AI receptionist. Completely disagree with that. Lead management systems are definitely the best place to start, in my opinion. I wish that's where I would have started instead of trying to do everything at once. But yeah, these are the 3 main systems. The 3 only systems, not main. These are the 3 inside of the framework that all of the systems will fall into one of these 3 categories. So yeah, that's the overview. We'll refer back to this many times throughout the rest of the bootcamp. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can DM me on Instagram again, like I said in the first video. But just want to take a quick pause here. If you guys want to screenshot, write any of this down, whatever, feel free to do so. But yeah, let's move on now. So how the three systems are going to work together. So once you get more advanced, you have some clients under your belt, you're in the space for a little bit longer, how are you going to make them work together? So capture is obviously going to get attention, convert turns attention into appointments or sales, and manage keeps everything organized, predictable, and prevents churn. When all three systems run together, there is fewer lost leads, more booked appointments, and higher revenue in general. This is a full revenue engine that businesses will pay for over and over as long as you market it correctly, and we'll get into that later as well. So why does this make you valuable? Why are businesses going to be throwing money at you after you learn this framework and after you learn what system you can start building right now? The truth is that businesses do not care about tools, they care about outcomes. I touched on this in the first video, and I will continue to refer back to this throughout the remainder of the bootcamp just because of how important it is to get that information in your head. Outcomes come from systems, not random automations. Another big issue, I've fallen victim to this myself, but systems like this do not get views. So that's why you'll see, I've done it, I'm not going to lie, I've done it on Instagram, but that's why you'll see people posting these crazy systems like this dude, I think it's Brody Automates, no hate at all, I mean obviously he's doing very well for himself, but he posted like the Hell Yeah simulator, and it was like ordering beer off Uber Eats and an Uber to the casino and stuff. It's funny, I really like his videos, it's funny, it's engaging obviously, but like that's not realistic obviously, and I know that most people don't take that seriously, but there are some people that do. That's why I'm putting together these videos, because this video in short form just simply won't get engagement, won't get views, anything like that. So for the people that are serious, that's why I'm putting together this, because I know a lot of people are serious and it's difficult to find proper videos that will actually help them. Anyways, when you speak in this framework, you sound like, and you are, a consultant, a strategist, and a systems architect, not a kid building bots. This positioning instantly increases your value and the trust that people will feel when communicating with you, just because you know what you're talking about, and if you don't, then you sound like you know what you're talking about. All right, now that you understand the three-system model, it's time to learn about the actual tools that power these systems. N8N, ChatGPT, or OpenAI, their API, which we'll talk more about later. VAPI for voice agents, Framer for building websites, Google Sheets, Supabase, stuff like that. Just all the tools that you're going to need to put these systems together. Different scrapers such as Apify, stuff like Puppeteer. I don't want to overwhelm you guys, but these will all be tools that you're going to be using depending on what system you will be building. Once you know what each tool does, building systems becomes very simple. That's video 3. One thing I didn't want to touch on, because I feel like I'm trying to make this as simple as possible for you guys, but it still could be easy to get confused. So the main thing that I wanted to talk about at the end here is just the fact that there are so many different types of systems. Like I wanted to, just focus on website resurrections or stuff like that, chatbots, quote bots, things in that nature, but I would be doing you guys such a disservice if I only told you about specific systems when there's a whole world of infinite other possibilities that you could do, that, one idea that you might have might be the one that makes you a ton of money. So I don't want to do you guys a disservice by saying, this is the only system that you should be selling, because that's simply not true. So I'm trying to do this in a way where I tell you everything that you need to know without making it confusing or overwhelming. I hope I'm doing that well. If you're confused in any way, again, just message me on Instagram. I will try to respond as quickly as possible. There's also some resources in the description of this video to help you out, so feel free to check those out. If not, cool. I just hope to see you in the next video where we're going to talk about the tools of this trade.